on demand.
Hi, I'm Jim Stroud. Welcome to the Recruiter's Lounge. The Recruiter's Lounge is a podcast of news, interviews, and commentary on the recruiting industry, and it was designed with you in mind. So sit back, relax, and enjoy your time in the Recruiter's Lounge.
Looking okay?
Yep.
Welcome to the Recruiter's Lounge. I'm your host, Jim Stroud, and this is part 2 in a series that I'm doing. As I mentioned earlier in my other video cast, I'm on assignment here in Hyderabad, exotic Hyderabad, and talking to some movers and shakers here in the city. Of course, my good blogging friend Gautam Ghosh is someone I just had to reach out and talk to, and fortunately, he's agreed to appear on camera, and we're going to talk about blogs, we're going to talk about India, we're going to talk about whatever else comes to mind. So without further ado, I'm going to switch over to Gautam. I'm going to reach out and take the camera, but just to show you the big budget that we have here on my blog. And there's Gautam. How are you, Gautam?
I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to finally meet you.
Definitely. You see, we spared no expense here on my blog. No expense. So, you've been blogging. Well, let me ask you this. How long have you been blogging? Let me start off that way.
4 years.
4 years of blogging. Wow.
July 2002. It's 4.5 years now.
Wow. So you got an anniversary coming up pretty soon.
Yeah.
What changes have you seen with blogs since you started?
Well, my own awareness of blogs have gone up.
Okay.
As I was saying earlier, I kind of used blogs more as a repository of what I was posting somewhere else.
Okay.
And that time Blogspot was pretty basic. You, apart from just archiving and posts, didn't have too much stuff. And I didn't know anybody else who was blogging who could either coach me. So what happened was I was posting these, and I guess a lot of stuff had to do with HR, recruitment,
Right.
people issues. And that's when Michael Kellerman, Canadian headhunter,
Recruiting animal.
the recruiting animal, aka the recruiting animal, kind of discovered me and linked to me. And I think this was 2003 Jan or middle of 2003. I'm not really sure. I've linked to that first post that he linked to me, and then I kind of discovered the whole technorati linking game of blogs, and that until that point of time, my blog was a standalone personal knowledge management system, if you can call it that. And that's when, apart from Michael, even Anthony, I got in touch with.
Anthony Meany?
Anthony Meany. Both of them were running Canadian Headhunter then. And
Right.
then they joined Jason Davis and joined in the early stages of recruiting.com.
Look where recruiting.com is today.
And of course, then all the Jasons came onto the scene. And of course, then Heather, the whole jobs blog team from Zoe, Gretchen of the early days. And then I got to see your blog on Blog Charm. Got connected with Priya once in a while at the jobs blog. So kind of it's been a great journey to find out new friends. And since I'm not a pure recruiter in any sense of way, I've also got extended communities in the HR area, in the organizational development area. So Regina Miller is a good friend. She was here in India, but we couldn't meet her because she was taking part of the World HRD conference in Mumbai, and then I was slated to travel to Delhi, but the Delhi travel never happened. That's one big regret because she came down to India. I couldn't meet her then. Then there's Terence Seaman, who's an organizational development consultant. So yeah, I've got quite a few friends whom I would have never met. I wouldn't be talking to you if I wasn't blogging.
True.
Absolutely.
True. Let me. Hello, cow. He's a little friendly there. And they just walk around the street all day, huh?
Yes, sir.
Wow. Let me ask you this, because let me move the camera here just a little bit. Let me ask you this now. You mentioned a lot of blogs that I'm familiar with, and probably a lot of my visitors on my blog are familiar with, but they tend to be American blogs. Do you have a lot of Indian bloggers
Indian bloggers have, especially in the talent arena, have taken off over the last 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a good friend who was actually had come over home. So she's somebody I know pre-blogging.
Okay.
So she's turned a blogger. Her name is Anuradha. She's a organization development manager with one of the big investment banks in Mumbai.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's of course my good friend AK, who's featured in the first part of the podcast, who's here in Hyderabad. Then there's Sucharit Menon. He's a recruiter and he blogs exclusively on recruiting issues.
Yeah, I think I came across his blog recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course there's Ajit Chauhan with HR Funda. Funda is the Indian jargon for fundamentals. It's too long a word. I think he shortened it to HR Funda. So yeah, there are quite a few talent bloggers. I kind of don't like the term recruitosphere. It excludes people like me who are not recruiters.
Right. Do you like the term blogosphere?
Talentosphere or
talentosphere?
talent bloggers.
Okay.
One.
Huh.
What it is, let it be a suspense. I will tell you at the right time.
It's beautiful. It doesn't look like it's actually there, like it's floating. It is amazing. I hope this comes across well on the video there, but this is an amazing looking building. Okay, pretty cool. Let me ask you this now. A lot of recruiters or sourcers use blogs to recruit people.
Absolutely.
You know, they'll see that they've written a great deal of blog posts on a particular topic. So it just comes to reason that they're an expert in that field. Maybe someone that a recruiter may want to recruit. Is that a phenomenon that's happening here as well? Or are recruiters looking at different blogs here in India and thinking that person's maybe someone I want to talk to?
See, thing is, the blogging communities in India is pretty young.
Mm-hmm.
So there are people who are either graduating from college or MBA colleges, and then I think there are very few people who've worked a lot and then have taken to blogging. There might be quite a few, but the kind of professionals that recruiters are trying to target are not really on the blogging scene right now.
Okay.
And therefore it's not happening too much. The other thing is recruiters have more than their share of work with traditional sources of hiring than to concentrate. It's I'll do what's easy first. I'll get people through the portals, I'll get people through job fairs, I'll get people through walk-ins. Walk-ins is something that's a huge thing in India.
People still walk in and apply?
People still walk in and apply.
Really?
Especially in the kind of areas that you see nearby, where all organizations are co-located in a radius of 2 to 3 kilometers.
Right.
It gets much easier to hold a walk-in on a Saturday and tell people who apply to you that you turn up on the Saturday, so everybody can come and apply. Kind of takes up the hiring manager's time much shorter. Hiring manager doesn't have to pull himself out from a meeting every now and then. So yes, it's quite different, I guess, than how.
Yeah.
And of course the volumes. The volumes make it necessary for people to operate in batches, as they call it. Whether it's training, whether it's recruiting, whether it's development, you kind of get fixated on this. A group of people coming in, applying, a group of people getting selected, and that group getting trained. So, at some level, blogs are helping actually employees connect with each other before they actually join an organization. So, for
अगर ये सब जानते हुए भी मैंने मांग लिया तो शास्त्र में ये भी लिखा है कि अगर कहने वाला बुद्धिमान हुए और मांगने
example, blogs and other social networks. For example, Google's Orkut is a huge hit in India, especially in the student community.
Right.
And one of the firms where I was working, the interesting point was, so there were these 20-25 people getting hired to this firm from just out of engineering colleges, all the top engineering colleges from India.
Yep.
And I got to found out in Orkut that they had created a community for themselves out of their own initiative. So they were communicating with each other before they even landed in the organization.
Wow.
Because they were recruited 6 to 4 months before the joining dates. So, and that is kind of both a challenge as well as an opportunity for organizations. Because while today organizations believe that talent engagement happens when an employee is on board, here they are engaging and bonding with each other virtually for 4 to 6 months before they actually come on board.
This is where I go to try to find my wife a purse, or my daughter a souvenir. This place is called Charmiar. All right, so Gautam, before we wrap it up, let's do some shameless publicity here. Tell us about your management consultancy and what the type of interesting work that you do.
Well, I kind of see it in 3 different areas.
Okay.
One is HR strategy and HR consulting. I try to work with organizations who need help in formulating HR strategies for their organizations. Could be anything from, so it cuts across the verticals of HR, from recruitment, compensation, although those are not my strong areas, but I can work with organizations in identifying people who work on. But my strong areas are basically performance management, talent management, succession planning, organization development, and learning and development.
Okay.
And so that's one large area that I offer. The other area is, of course, social media and blogging. I'm, for example, looking at working with organizations and how they could utilize. They could be, really small firms like AKs, as in really helping them set up a blog, or working in an advisory capacity. So there is a prospective client I'm talking to who's one of the big online sites in India.
Okay.
And they are really keen to move into the Web 2.0 direction, and they've been talking to me as to how they could do it, because that whole mindset kind of needs to change as to how they approach the online world in this social media. So social media blogging is one large, I'm also exploring, because it's the first time anybody's doing that in India. And apart from that, I have the training, which is what I've done for most of my career. I've done 6 to 7 years of training, design, delivery, e-learning, knowledge management. So
wow, you're like a Renaissance man.
Down and cut it with the curve. We'll show you again. Cut it. Do it once more again, please. One front, one back. Pull it down, cut it. And then, if a person makes an error while choosing these threads, the person has to be sharp enough. If she knows that she made an error, she never put them in parallel. If she's sharp, she can pull the knot out at the same time. So that this.
All right. So if somebody wants to reach out to you and contact you for more information and how to use your services, how would they? Give them the address of your blog. Let them find you that way.
Okay. My blog is http://gauteg.blogspot.com.
There you have it. Well, Gautam, thank you for your time here in the video edition of the Recruiters Lounge.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
No
It's
problem.
been a pleasure to hang out in the lounge.